What's up, my peoples? It's your girl Misha. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a word for you. I was driving going on school run and I saw this van. I saw this on the 12th of May 2025, but I've been seeing it before from like last year, but I can never get a picture of it. It's always driving past me too fast. It was a van saying GRAPVINE. I'll put it up, okay? So I took a picture of it and it's here. I'll put it up. And the Lord said to go to Micah chapter 4 verse 4. It says, everyone will sit under their own vine and under their own fig tree, and no one will make them afraid, for the Lord Almighty has spoken. What does that mean? This refers to a grapevine, specifically their own vine, and a fig tree, biblically for an absolute peace, security and prosperity. People resting in safety without fear in a time of abundance. Okay, so you're gonna have your own grapevine. Okay, it's abundance, and you're gonna be able to enjoy it in peace, security, prosperity, resting. You're not gonna be in fear. Okay, you will enjoy the fruit of your own labor without fear of war or being oppressed. Okay, it's prophecy of the future time when weapons are turned into forming tools. He said, go to Micah chapter 3 verse 3. He will judge between many peoples and will settle disputes. What does a grapevine mean? It means peace, security, prosperity, blessings, chosen people, connections, fruitfulness, spiritual life. It's the most mentioned plant in the Bible, representing the essential need for followers to remain connected to Jesus, to produce spiritual fruit. Okay, in John chapter 15 it says Jesus is the true vine and the Father is the gardener. Jesus is the source of spiritual life. Okay, the grapevine represents the nature of Israel, planted and nurtured by God. In Numbers chapter 3 it says, a large cluster of grapes brought back from the spies, symbols of richness, fertility and of the promised land, because spies were sent out to see if it was a fertile land, if it was prosperous, will things grow, whatever, and they come back with cluster of grapes, like on the van, big heavy massive clusters of grapes. Okay, and you can still go and read about it in Isaiah chapter 55 verse 1 to 7. It says the songs of the vineyard. In Psalms 80 from 8 to 9 it says the vine from Egypt. And in Micah 4 chapter 4, they're sitting under one's own vine. So you can go and read that. So that is for the righteous, for the obedient. Okay, what God has in store for you is going to be cluster grapes, your own grapevine, your own vineyard. Okay, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're not going to be, there's going to be no warfare. You won't have oppression. You won't be fearful. You're going to be rested in abundance, security, prosperity, peace. But then he said to me, go to Isaiah chapter 5 verse 2. Then he looked for a crop of good grapes, but it yielded bad fruit. Okay, what's that? That's God's disappointment with Israel and Judea, who received his love and his care, but responded with injustice and sin instead of righteousness. So people received God's love, received his care, and in response for that, of them showing gratitude, they're in sin. They choose sin instead of to be unrighteous after everything God's done. In Isaiah chapter 5 verse 4 it says, when I looked for good grapes, why did it yield bad? Okay, it's that you could go to, it's the parable, God the vineyard owner. This means God expresses disappointment that Israel, the vineyard, produced moral corruption instead of righteousness. Okay, so the Bible says if the tree doesn't bear good fruit, it's going to be cut down. Okay, that's the same with people and with creation. Like you can't expect to be living in sin and unrighteous and want clusters of good grape, and have prosperity and wealth and security and abundance and all that kind of stuff. No, that's only for righteous people. You're going to get bad grapes, not good grapes. Okay, so the good grapes what's that? Desired fruits of righteousness, obedience, justice and love for good grapes. But for bad grapes, wild grapes, They're sour, inedible, poisonous, wild grapes representing sinful behavior. So you're not gonna get clusters of grapes. You're not gonna get all the prosperity, the peace from enemies, resting, security, abundance. No, because you're disobedient, you're sinning, and you're living unrighteous. So therefore, your grapes are gonna be bad grapes. It's gonna be sour, inedible, poisonous. That's sinful, representing sinful behavior. Bad grapes were a result of disobedience, despite having received every possible opportunity and blessing from God. Okay, and then I looked into it because the grapes are purple, because you've got purple grapes, you've got green grapes. Okay, purple in the Bible symbolizes royalty, wealth, high status, and majesty, splendor, and luxury. Okay, Jesus, Mordecai, and kings and wealthy men wore purple. Jesus' purple robe, they mocked his status. Yeah, you got Mordecai dressed in royal purple when he was being elevated. Then you got the rich man and Lazarus in Luke chapter 16 verse 19, dressed in purple and fine linen. Okay, Revelations chapter, I'm showing you what the color purple is and how special it is and the meaning. Revelation chapter 17 verse 4, the woman was dressed in purple scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. Okay, wearing purple in the Bible was a direct symbol of being elevated, promoted, or bestowed with high honor, authority, and royalty. So the Lord said he's promoting people in this season. He's elevating people in this season. You're going to have high honor, authority, and royalty, because we come from a royal priesthood already. Okay, because purple dye was extraordinarily expensive and rare, it was reserved for kings and high officials and wealthy individuals. Okay, in Daniel chapter 5 verse 29, after he interpreted the writing on the wall, the king elevated him and clothed him in purple and received a gold chain. This is a season of elevation. It doesn't matter what witch, what warlock, what juju, what obia, what this, what that. It's when God said it's elevation time. As long as you're being obedient, it's elevation time. Okay, the Lord said they cannot do anything to you, but if you give up, they win. And that's what they want you to give up. And that now gonna happen. Okay? So that's the word for today. Thanks for listening. Bye.